Have you ever asked yourself what happens the moment your voice assistant grows legs? What happens when the thing you thought was just a polite voice in your phone starts moving, watching, and talking back like an actual being? It sounds like science fiction, but Apple is now preparing to pull Siri out of your iPhone and give it a body. At the same time, Chinese scientists have built a robot that can pollinate crops on its own, something that could literally change how we feed billions. Johns Hopkins has proven an AI-driven robot can slice into a human organ without a surgeon guiding its hands. In California, robots are building entire homes in days, not months. Beijing just hosted the first ever Olympics for humanoid robots. And in Taiwan, HTC unveiled AI-powered smart glasses that could challenge both Apple and Meta in a race for our faces. Everywhere you look, robotics and AI are colliding in ways that are no longer futuristic. They're happening right now. But the question is, what does all of this mean for you, for your family, for the world you'll live in 5 years from now? Let's break it down. Section 1. Apple's Siri robot. For years, Siri has been mocked as that slightly clueless assistant stuck inside your phone. She could set a timer or tell you the weather, but when it came to actual intelligence, Siri was more like a glorified search bar. Apple knows it, and now they're preparing what might be the boldest leap in the company's history, turning Siri into an AI robot that can move, watch, and interact like a living assistant. Reports from Bloomberg suggest that Apple is testing prototypes of tabletop robots, devices that look like sleek displays mounted on mechanical arms, swiveling to follow you around the room. Imagine FaceTiming someone and the robot literally turning its head to track you or dancing in rhythm to your music. Think Pixar's desk lamp, but powered by Apple's AI. Internally, Apple has been working on something called LLM Siri, a rebuilt assistant based on large language models similar to ChatGPT. This means Siri will finally be able to carry on natural flowing conversations, adapt to multiple people in the same room, and even recognize faces using built-in cameras. Instead of a faceless voice, Apple envisions Siri as having a personality, animated avatars, bouncing icons, or even lifelike facial expressions displayed right on the screen. The timeline? Apple could roll out its first smart home display in 2026, a counter-mounted hub for video calls, music, and smart home control. But the real star is the robot expected by 2027. That's when Siri stops being just software and becomes a presence in your home. And here's the kicker. Apple isn't stopping at tabletop assistants. Conversations inside the company point toward wheeled robots like Amazon's Astro, and even vague exploration into humanoids. Yes, humanoids from Apple. It's a quiet seed, but a seed that could sprout into something world-changing. When critics say Apple is behind in AI, this is their counterpunch. Not just another chatbot, but a robotic ecosystem that could manage your household, track your habits, and quite literally follow you around. It's equal parts thrilling and unsettling. Because once Siri has a body, how long before she becomes more than an assistant? Section 2. China's crop-pollinating robot. While Apple dreams of dancing assistants, China is tackling a very different problem: food. Agriculture might not sound as flashy as humanoid robots, but feeding billions of people is arguably the greatest challenge humanity faces. Enter Gayar, the world's first AI-powered robot designed to perform hybrid pollination without human hands. Developed by the Chinese Academy of Sciences, Gayar autonomously navigates greenhouses, identifies flowers ready for pollination, and uses robotic arms to precisely transfer pollen. Why is this so big? Because hybrid pollination, the process of crossbreeding plants to create higher-yield crops, is usually slow, expensive, and prone to mistakes. Human workers spend countless hours transferring pollen, and errors mean weaker harvests. Gayar doesn't get tired, doesn't make random mistakes, and can work at a pace humans simply can't. One striking milestone: Gayar has already been tested on soybeans, a crop critical to global food supply. With gene-edited sterile flowers, the process becomes even more efficient. Pair that with advanced techniques like speed breeding and de novo domestication, and you start seeing what researchers are calling an intelligent robotic breeding factory. Think about the scale here. A robot that can reliably pollinate crops at industrial levels could massively increase yields, cut costs, and help prevent food shortages. Combine this with the rising global population, climate change, and shrinking arable land, and you realize how disruptive this could be. Of course, it's not without controversy. Genetic engineering brings ethical debates about biodiversity. The cost of deploying robotic farms is massive. And what happens to the countless farm workers who rely on pollination jobs? Still, the upside is almost impossible to ignore. While the US and Europe are focused on chatbots and consumer gadgets, China is quietly aiming at solving food security. a move that could give them enormous global leverage. Because if you can feed the world, you don't just lead in technology, you lead civilization itself. Section 3. AI surgeons. Now, let's shift from farms to operating rooms. Johns Hopkins University just achieved something that sounds impossible. An AI-driven robot performed gallbladder surgery autonomously with the precision of an expert surgeon. This wasn't just pre-programmed steps. The system, called the Surgical Robot Transformer, SRTH, learned from thousands of hours of surgical videos. It uses machine learning, similar to the models powering ChatGPT, but applied to human anatomy. The result? A robot that doesn't just follow instructions, it adapts in real time, making decisions when something unexpected happens. During trials, the robot completed 17 complex surgical tasks without error, including responding to changes in anatomy and simulated bleeding. Published in Science Robotics, the study showed the machine performing at a level comparable to skilled human surgeons. The implications are staggering. Autonomous surgery could solve one of healthcare's biggest bottlenecks: access to skilled professionals. Imagine a rural hospital, thousands of miles from a major medical center, deploying an AI surgeon that can perform life-saving operations with minimal human oversight. Of course, this raises unsettling questions. Would you trust a robot to cut into your body? Who is legally responsible if it makes a mistake? The hospital, the software company, or the robot itself? But here's the unavoidable truth. The technology is already working, and just like autopilot in planes, it may start as assistance before quietly becoming the norm. So while Apple is building a friendly home robot, Johns Hopkins is building a surgeon. Which one would you trust more? Section 4. Robots rebuilding California. From hospitals to disaster zones. In California, after wildfires destroyed over 16,000 homes, robotics stepped in to do something extraordinary: rebuild. ABB Robotics and Cosmic Building set up a mobile robotic microfactory in Pacific Palisades. Picture a massive tent filled with robotic arms hooked into AI-driven design software. These robots pre-plan entire houses in simulation, then cut, assemble, and prepare wall panels with fire-resistant materials, all at record speed. The numbers are jaw-dropping. Traditional construction timelines for framing a house? Months. With these robots? 10 days. Costs drop by 30%, build time slashed by 70%. And because the designs integrate solar panels, water recycling, and renewable systems, the homes aren't just rebuilt, they're upgraded. This isn't sci-fi. By 2027, the project plans to deliver at least 100 fully constructed homes. And because the entire microfactory can be assembled in just 30 days, it's deployable to disaster zones anywhere on Earth. Earthquake, tornado, flood. Imagine robotic crews arriving within weeks, rebuilding faster than any traditional method. It's one of those rare cases where robotics isn't just impressive, it's humanitarian. And it leaves you wondering, what if this becomes the default for rebuilding entire communities? Section 5. The world's first robot Olympics. Now for something both hilarious and terrifying, Beijing just hosted the first humanoid robot games. Picture the Olympics, but for machines. Over 500 robots from 16 nations competed in soccer, sprinting, kickboxing, and even medical sorting tasks. The opening ceremony featured robots dancing with humans. It was spectacular and awkward. Robots tripped, collided, waddled into soccer balls, and in kickboxing matches, they looked more like drunk boxers than trained fighters. But here's why it matters. This wasn't just entertainment. These games acted as a live testing ground. By pushing robots into unpredictable competitions, engineers discovered weaknesses, iterated faster, and sparked innovations that will fuel the next generation of humanoids. China's Unitree H1 humanoid won gold in the 400 miller and 1500 miller, finishing the latter in just over 6 minutes, about double the human world record. Still, considering robots could barely walk a decade ago, the progress is staggering. China's investment is strategic. With an aging population and intensifying competition with the US, robotics isn't just fun, it's a national priority. These games are part experiment, part spectacle, part political statement. We intend to lead. The humor distracts us from the deeper message. Humanoid robots are advancing rapidly. And while they look clumsy now, in a decade they may not just compete in games, they might compete for jobs. Section 6. The battle for AI glasses. Finally, let's talk about your face. HTC just unveiled the Vive Eagle AI smart glasses. Entering a battle that could redefine consumer tech. Weighing just 49 grams, these glasses pack cameras, built-in speakers, an AI voice assistant, and live translation across 13 languages. They can recommend restaurants, take notes, and capture photos, all hands-free. Right now, they're only in Taiwan, but the global potential is huge. Meta has its Ray-Bans. Apple is rumored to be working on its own sleek design. Google and Samsung are lurking in the wings. Why does this matter? Because whoever wins the AI glasses war might control the next dominant platform, just like the smartphone controlled the 2010s. Imagine walking through a city with real-time captions floating in your vision,
instant restaurant reviews, and AI whispering directions into your ear. It's not just convenience, it's augmentation of reality. And yes, it's also surveillance. Glasses that can record everything, everywhere, raise enormous privacy concerns. But that won't stop this race. Closing. So where does this leave us? In just 1 week, we've seen honors. Apple turning Siri into a physical robot. China reimagining farming with pollination machines. Johns Hopkins proving AI can cut into human bodies. Robots building homes in disaster zones. Humanoids clumsily sprinting in their own Olympics. And HTC launching a new front in the AI glasses war. If this is 1 week, what will 1 year look like? The future is unfolding faster than most people can process. But here's the paradox. While some watch in awe, others are quietly using AI to transform their own lives right now. If you're wondering, okay, this is cool, but what can I actually do with it? You're not alone. That's why we put together the AI Income Blueprint, a free guide showing 7 ways ordinary people are building side income streams with AI tools. No coding, no advanced skills, just simple, practical methods. The link is in the description. Look, whether it's Siri growing a body, robots planting food, or machines building homes, the world is entering a new phase where AI doesn't just live on screens. It's walking into our homes, our hospitals, our cities. The question isn't whether it's coming, it's whether you'll be ready for it. So hit subscribe, drop a comment, and stay ahead of the curve. Because the future isn't waiting.